Hey everyone, welcome back to GameSpot. We are here with the GDC 2017 Indie Mix livestream. We are showing off 6 indie games that we have into the studio today. I'm here with Paul O'Rourke from Sector K Games.
Hey, thanks for having us, Mike.
I'm really glad everybody's coming in. You are the sound designer and composer here on Punch Planet, which we'll show in a second.
Yep.
Yeah, so people joining us, we're just going to be every 20 minutes, we're going to be swapping out developers, just showing off the games. We have a lot of developers in town in San Francisco this week for GDC. And we would be remiss if we did not show off some of the great games they're bringing to the table. And yeah, I guess we'll just jump right in.
Awesome.
So Paul, tell me about Punch Planet.
Punch Planet is very much a competitive fighting game. We are all 3 of us competitive fighting game players, so it's pretty natural for us to want to make. If we're going to make a game, it's going to be a fighting game. So this is like a 2D sci-fi fighting game based on like a lot of the old 80s and 90s sci-fi films we're all such fans of.
Gotcha.
It's 3D, models, but played on a 2.5D, I guess they call it.
Sure,
so
yeah.
2D fighting plane,
Yeah,
2D
we've got
hitboxes.
We've got 2 other guys from Sector K Games here playing. I'm not good at fighting games, so that is an advantage for everybody watching. So what's you said? So these are the 2 characters, Roy and Sid. What kind of inspiration went into making this, and or I mean, it's going into making this?
Right. Yeah, I think we all grew up loving, all the big sci-fi and action films coming out in like the 90s and the 80s, late 80s. So a lot of those characters are really influenced for these guys. And Roy's kind of like our undercover cop who's been framed, and that he's the main protagonist for the game, for the story mode. Sid is a bounty hunter, ex-military, and everyone kind of has these like semi-tropey backgrounds that you would kind of hear from your traditional action films and stuff. And we just kind of want to fill those archetypes from our favorite stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like a die-hard character kind of.
Yeah, whatever. If it invokes that feeling, then we're doing it right.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, you said you guys are like big on the Evo scene and everything.
Yeah, yeah, we're a big fan of like the traditional fighter, 6 buttons. You've got 3 punch buttons of different strengths, 3 kick buttons of different strengths. Yeah, there's a pretty slow game flow. There's not like air dashing at like Marvel versus Capcom or anything, so it's a little slower as far as the gameplay goes.
But, methodical, kind of measured.
Yeah, and I think we wanted to go a little crazier with some of the mechanics, so we've added a system called the time cancel, and that's represented by that blue bar there.
Okay.
And that just fills up slowly as you play. You can also fill it up if you successfully land a parry, and that's one of the big mechanics we've added to this game, is everyone has a universal parry mechanic.
Okay.
And you can perform that by hitting both of the medium buttons and forward. So you can see that's how it looks like for a whiff, but if someone tries to, hit you, you can parry and get a big punish off of it.
Nice.
So it allows everybody to have kind of like a good defensive option. The other way you can utilize that meter is we have a jump time cancel. So if you dash and you hit the DTC buttons with the forward mediums, you'll get a little hop, which can kind of set you up for some quick overhead attacks or some sneaky cross-up attacks. And the last usage, which is probably the more common usage, is called the double time cancel. And this can be performed by pushing the same strength button you used initially. So if you did a fireball with light punch, you'd hit it again, and you can see he cancels the recovery. Used a lot to extend his combo some more.
Okay.
And this is just a meter you build for free, and you just get to use. And then we're using traditional meter, where 2 meters will let you do a super combo, or you can use 1 meter to do an enhanced version of your move.
Awesome. And what platforms are you planning this for release on?
Right now, it's currently only on Steam.
Okay.
We'd love to do console stuff, but it's just not in the cards right now for development. It's just a 3-man team, so we're just trying to get it really solid on Steam.
Cool.
We've passed the green light and everything, so now it's just kind of, we really just want to make sure we give people all the content they deserve from an early access title before we get to that point.
Sure. Awesome. So yeah, do you have public plans for like how many characters you'll include and like what the story mode will be like? I mean, I remember you saying Roy's going to be the main character of it, but what other kind of details can you share publicly?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't actually implemented anything for story mode yet, but we've planned out quite a bit of it. So, we haven't really seen story mode done very great in fighting games overall, and that's one of the things we'd like to improve on.
Awesome.
Our goal for early access is to have 4 characters in online. That would be like the bare minimum for what we think people deserve to have fun and pay for. And then, but launch would be, 1.0 would be 8 characters, a full story mode, and all the features you would expect from a modern fighting game.
Cool. So what kind of action movie tropes were you going for with Sid here?
We just like the strong women roles in films, and
G.I. Jane type?
Yeah, exactly. Someone that's just like take no guff.
Yeah.
She runs her own mercenary ship, and she's a bounty hunter, and she's just kind of roaming the system.
Sweet.
Beating people up and getting paid, basically.
Stabbing Roy.
Yeah.
So what? This is 3 people are working on everything we're watching now, right?
Yeah.
What's that like with such a small team? Because this is like a side project, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not appear to be just a side project. It looks like a full-fledged, full-time thing. But what's it like? Because you're at Double Fine most of the time, right?
Yeah, so Will has been working on the fighting game part of this engine. It's made in Unity, but he made the logic for the fighting game part of it for the last 2.5, 3 years. And then once that had all been kind of worked out, he met Lee online, and Lee is an artist out of New York, and hasn't done a lot in games yet, but he has immense experience in pretty much all the technical domains for art, so he was able to really fill in like all the roles you'd expect from the art department, direction and rigging, animating, lighting, like a lot of really important stuff that you need a lot of people for. He's just been like our Superman doing that stuff for.
Yeah, I really like it. Like you mentioned, it's like a 2.5D kind of perspective, but it's also kind of like a cartoony look to it. I like it. Super, like different juxtaposition against the stabbing and punching happening.
I don't want to butcher the hard work that Lee put into it and undersell what he did to make it look like this, but I think the end result is that it's it's not, sprite looking like a sprite-based game, but it's definitely got a nice flat feel like you'd expect from a two-dimensional game. What was I gonna say about that? Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Oh yeah, and then they've been working together for about 10 months on this.
Okay.
And then I met Will at a tournament for Street Fighter V stuff and other fighting games, and we hit it off. They had one sound they were using for everything in the game.
Yeah.
And then some temp music, so I was like, you guys probably could use some help with this, and I'm not gonna charge you because it's my dream to like work on a fighting game. Well, I already have my first dream, which is to make cool stuff for Tim Schafer, but then now I'm just like living the life, getting to work on a fighting game on the side, so I'm pretty happy.
Definitely. Cool. Yeah, I mean, like fighting games are so nuanced. I mean, I appreciate them. I'm not good at them, but I imagine just like balancing everything out. I mean, like on like Will's end must have been tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into making these, and making sure that your editor can support the amount of dynamic changes that go on with like balance. I haven't actually been my first time watching Will work was this weekend. This is our first time all getting together in the same space, and watching him work and how fast he can just like in editor while we're running the game, just make small balance tweaks and hitbox adjustments and things like that. It just allows us to really tune it live and just, I don't know, we iterated like so many things in just 2 days. It's like a whole different game.
It's like, what is it? So like the parry system seems pretty big. Like if you were to describe this to like a diehard fighting game fan, I know like Richard Lee here, Joey and Eric Tay all at GameSpot just get super into fighting games. What would it be? Like, what are the defining factors about the systems that work in this game?
I think, since we played competitively, we wanted to make the game that we would like to play, so with the things that we enjoy from fighters, which is, a large skill ceiling, but also we recognize that there's a really big challenge with fighters where when you try to get someone to play, it's kind of hard to get into, and it's always that 1v1 personal journey thing, so getting friends to play with you can be kind of difficult.
Sure.
But I think with Punch Planet, the mechanics, like parry and things like that are really, really simple, and like giving people obvious answers on how to deal with things. Usually when I'm showing people the game when they get frustrated by something, I just say, are you parrying? And they're like, oh yeah. And then they just remember that they have a complete answer to that problem.
Right.
So I think a lot of the ways to solve things are really intuitive in Punch Planet. So even if you're not super good at it, if you take a second and just think about some of the mechanics, I think you'll arrive at the answer to some of these solutions a lot easier than other fighting games.
Right. I like that the parries are kind of based on that meter. It's almost like a resource management thing, because like you can just waste them, right? If you don't use them at the right time.
Right. So the blue part, the DTC meter is, or the TC meter is great because you can just, you don't have to really worry. Usually you have a little bit because it's just building all the time.
Sure.
And you can build a little extra if you successfully parry as well. But yeah, that one's kind of nice because you just want to use it. It resets every round, so you don't need to worry about saving it for something later. And then the yellow meter, the EX meter is your traditional build it by whiffing normals and doing moves and stuff and taking damage. And that is a little more precious.
Okay. So like you kind of set up the premise, but can you talk any more about where you want to go with the story of this game, or who's writing it?
Lee is doing all the story direction with this game.
Cool.
So it's centered around Roy, who's been framed. He's an undercover cop, so he's kind of on the run now. And the goal is to introduce the characters in a way that makes sense in the story. And all of that hasn't 100% been mapped out yet. It's still a little bit in flux, but the outline has been sort of drafted. But we're not super ready to talk about the entire story yet. But I think if you like traditional, action films from the '90s, you can picture that kind of arc a bit, that fun ride with good action and your highs and your lows.
Sure. Yeah.
One thing we wanted to really do with the story mode as well is teach the mechanics of the game a bit. It's not just going to be like story cutscenes and then arcade mode. We want to have custom stuff that really teaches you how to block high-low mix-ups and how to parry certain setups, and that's the only way you can beat this thing is if you know this mechanic. So hopefully by the time you finish the story mode, you feel a little stronger in the versus aspect as well.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, even obviously, like the people playing right now, Lee and Will are pretty well versed in the game. But,
yeah.
I mean, it does look like it's pretty impressive that 3 people made like what appears to be a nuanced game.
We can go over their kits a little bit too, since there's only 2 characters. Yeah, so this is Sid.
Which one is Sid?
She has, you know,
it's a shitty joke for the second.
The game uses traditional inputs for your special moves, you know, quarter circles and charges, motions, 6-button normal. So Sid has a grenade she can put out, which is done with quarter circle for a kick. Yeah, they'll cancel each other out, but they're kind of nice. You can use them on people's wake up and do kind of tricky setups since the grenade's going to cover you a bit.
Sure.
Most of her fighting style revolves around this combat knife, which has a bit of an electricity stun to it. So she can do a knife rush ability with quarter circle 4 punch, which has 3 different strengths. It kind of looks like that.
Okay.
And then she has a overhead kick called the knife wheel. And that hits high, and if you counter hit, you can combo out of it, and it's pretty fun.
What kind of parries is she working with?
They all work with it. They all have the same parry mechanic, but she gets some pretty safe pressure. So she's a little safer from parry since she can kind of do a lot from her jabs with her knife.
Cool.
And
doesn't telegraph as much?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Her other mechanic that's pretty cool is any normal that uses a knife can be charged.
Okay.
And that has different properties. Usually it's more hit stun, but in the case of her stand medium punch, it'll be an overhead at that point. Or you'll get a launcher from the charged version. And you can dash cancel all those while you're charging, so you can kind of set up that tricky, I'm going to overhead you, and then dash in and go for a throw or something.
Gotcha.
And then, did you want to take a look at Roy?
Yeah, sure. We got like 5 minutes left. We can check out. So the 2 characters implemented right now are Roy and Sid. Looks like you have another 2 under there on the select screen, but it looks like it'll be like 8 total. Yeah,
Dog is our next project after GDC. We're going to get cranking on getting that character into the game.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think we've been pretty happy with the pipeline for getting characters in, but with 3 people only, it's kind of, you really have to focus our attention on the right things.
Not to mention balancing and everything.
Right. Yeah, Roy's kind of our, I don't want to, call him like our generic character, but he's our like centering everything around Roy. He's kind of like, we want him to feel like the baseline for the game, and if he's feeling good, then we want people to feel as good as he does.
Right.
So he's got your traditional zoning archetype. He has 3 different directions he can shoot the gun. The low one will hit low, and it lets you also OTG, which is when the character's already knocked down, you can hit them off the ground and continue the combo.
Sure.
He has a shoulder tackle, which is kind of your just damager
brute
finisher.
Force.
Yeah. Usually, if you've seen the hit confirm, then that's your kind of like he'll finish into that. 2 super abilities. He has a laser super and he has a punch super.
Is his block just like to kind of tense up his arm?
Yeah, a bit.
Just absorb all the damage on his elbow.
Yeah, and we're still working on VFX and things like that, so we might end up finding something more thematic for this. But right now, yeah, he's just flexing on him, and just that's all he needs. He can block lasers, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we use in traditional things like target combos as well. So Roy has a couple, and then stand medium punch, stand heavy punch, and he has the stand medium punch, stand heavy kick.
Okay.
But yeah, he's pretty basic. It makes it a little easier to bounce around him, but he also has fun, flashy combos and big damage.
Cool.
Decision player 1.
There we go. Yeah, it's like I'm getting a lot of John McClane vibes from him.
Yeah. He's
never a bad thing.
My friend voiced him, and we gave him the raspy voice voice direction. And our friend Elspeth, she's a fun Twitch streamer. Just check her out. She did the voice for Sid.
Okay. Well, so yeah, you guys will be over on the show floor all week for GDC.
Yep. We'll be at the Mix tonight from 7 to 11, which is cool. Press only, but hopefully there'll be some cool coverage that comes out of that.
Awesome.
Yep. And we'll just be around the week, so if you give us
definitely.
If you find us, come play our game.
Yeah, definitely. Glad to have you guys in and everything.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for those joining, we are doing our GameSpot Indie Mix for GDC 2017. We're gonna be wrapping up Punch Plan in a few minutes. We've got a couple more if you guys want to do another round or two.
Yeah, these guys.
Sure, they're not
these guys will
complaining.
play each
we do
other
have
all
two
day.
guys from Sector K. Lee and Will back behind the scenes playing. Thank God, because I'm not good at fighting games. Paul, you would probably kick my ass.
I would not be able to talk if I was playing this game and just get too into it.
Yeah. I can't talk and play most games, let alone games I'm terrible at. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, this looks fun. I want to play more of this.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's winning the most, they don't have to, like, the other people have to get the coffee for them and stuff like that right now, so.
Of the three guys on Sector K, of the three guys in Sector K games, who wins the most? Is it
I'm
you?
the best, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Will's the best because Will gets to work on it every day for a living, but then yeah, I'm the best spiritually.
Okay. You kind of have the power to say that because you're the only one with a microphone on right now.
Yeah. Well, now that exactly. There's no one can contest that I'm the best now.
Let's say scream.
Yeah. If I lose, I just tell Will to nerf things, until I can beat him again.
Just blame it on his design.
Nerf your characters.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, we would probably swap out and do one more round. See who wins. Do a winner takes all between Lee and Will over here.
I wish I could do good live commentary. Be like, he is pushing buttons. He is blocking those buttons.
Yeah, I could not cast if my life depended on it.
Yeah, you can just see this is sort of how the normal game flow would be. It's very much your traditional fighting game. Everyone has the tools to stop these jump-ins and punish these whip normals and punish these block sweeps.
This will be Punch Plan. You said right now is confirmed for Steam. It's green lit. You don't have a release window.
I think end of year is when we want to be on early access. So that's when I think we're comfortable saying that's when we'd like to be on Steam early access.
Cool. So there we go. Who was that? Who won? That was Lee won. All right. There we go. All right. Thanks so much for coming on, Paul.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Yeah, Lee and Will and everybody at Sector K Games. Thanks for showing off Punch Planet. That will be a Steam game, like aiming for later in the year. But again, if you happen to be in town for GDC, go check it out. The Indie Mix tonight. It'll be over on the show floor the rest of the week. The Indie show, Indie Mix section. Yeah. Thanks so much. We appreciate you coming on, Paul.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks so much for showing us Punch Planet. Yeah, we'll be rotating people in and out. We're gonna have Joanne from Thunder Lotus Games come on right now, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, people just joining. We have the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat up and running. So if you have any questions to throw me, then let me know. Joanne, we'll have you come on down. I think your mic is on. We're gonna show off. We're setting up Sundered. So this is from Thunder Lotus Games. But Joanne, so nice to have you on.
Thank you.
Cool. Where do you come from?
I come from Montreal, Canada.
Oh, cool.
All the way from the East Coast.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Flew in very late last night.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm a former New Yorker.
Oh,
but,
nice.
I like Montreal a lot. It's probably cold there right now.
Very cold.
Yeah.
No, it's actually warmer because of climate change.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Cool. So we are going to load up Sundered, but so you're from Thunder Lotus Games.
Yep.
Can you tell me a bit about Sundered, what we're about to see for the next 20 minutes?
Yeah, it's Sundered is basically a horrifying fight for survival and sanity.
Okay.
It's a Metroidvania. You're Ash, and you fight to either embrace or resist ancient Eldritch powers.
Okay. Cool. So what platforms is this running on? It'll be Steam?
Yeah, it's going to be on Steam and PS4 in July.
Okay.
It's coming out in July.
Cool.
Yeah.
You said it's like a Metroidvania. That's
Yeah.
right up my alley. I incidentally, I think it's Symphony of the Night's like 20th anniversary, like in a week or so.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think so.
So a lot of are you a big Castlevania Metroid fan?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So
All the studios is a very. I think all those studios like really big on Metroid
Okay.
a lot.
Cool.
So it's very inspired by that. It's it's kind of procedurally generated, but like
Okay.
the whole area is the general game. No, I don't remember what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
The general layout is set in stone.
Okay.
But the subsections are procedurally generated, so every time you reload, it's a new paths.
Okay, cool. So here we'll throw up footage right now. Do you want to play? Or you want me to play?
Oh, please play.
I'll play. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the steering. You can steer the conversation. All right. So.
But yeah,
I like
you can
the
just
art
try out
direction.
all the buttons and see what they do.
Okay.
So
Whoa.
yeah, there's
All right. So Y is pretty awesome.
yeah, these are gravity fields basically. You
Okay.
can't go up them.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Okay, I already got a double jump. Nice.
So you play Esh. You're that's the main character.
Okay.
She's a wanderer in a ruined world, and she basically has to find her way
Okay.
through hordes and hordes of terrifying enemies that you just saw one there in
Okay.
2.
What's your title on the development team? Like, what kind of things do you work on with Sundered?
I'm the art director.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome! I was just gonna say this art. This is gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, we have
It's like hand-drawn style. Oh, damn.
Yeah, we have 2 animators and another artist doing the assets in game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then is that all out of Montreal, or is it remotely?
Oh no,
team?
we're all in Montreal on this in one building. Yeah.
Okay,
we're
cool.
full time on this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. That's why it's coming so soon because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can actually afford to.
Sure. Do I have like? Is this attack limited? Do I have like a?
Yeah. You can see the bullets.
Oh, damn.
The
Okay.
bullets. Yeah.
I was like, that seems
can
too
pick,
powerful to not be limited.
They drop at random, so you can.
Okay, cool.
You'll find others.
Are there any RPG mechanics? Am I leveling up, or is it more like a?
Actually, there's a central hub. When you die, you spawn back to the hub, and there's a skill tree there that you can upgrade for permanent upgrades.
Awesome.
And there's also perks that you can find in game. Those are interchangeable every run.
Okay.
So like just some are just like more abilities, and if you go down, yeah,
Oh, cool. Nice.
yeah, secrets. There's a lot of those hidden everywhere, so it's
Okay.
gonna be a lot of exploring to do.
Okay.
That's what we actually like.
Yeah, yeah. So did you say, do you have like a release window for this game at all?
Yeah,
Or you
July.
guys- Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's we've been in production for about a year now.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's coming out in July, and it's gonna be really fun.
Cool.
We have a lot of feedback already that like people already like it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It feels
and
really good.
we also just finished a Kickstarter
Oh, awesome.
for it, and yeah, it's we're gonna send out the alpha soon to pretty much all the backers.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're really looking for feedback on this.
Cool. Yeah, for those just joining the audience, I do have the Twitch and YouTube chats up here, so feel free to ask questions for Joanne. I'll do my best to monitor the chat while I don't think I can get over there. Does not look like it.
No, but you can fall down though.
Okay.
There's no fall damage.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's good to know because I didn't want to like screw up a stream by just dying too much. Whoa. All right, cool. And I do a dodge.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh man. Oh man.
So yeah, this is the first horde that you encounter in this level. It's the first. It's the biggest horde. It's like the challenge for to measure how good you are,
Yep.
basically.
We'll see. Oh, I'm out of those that
Yeah.
railgun ammo. Damn,
Yeah.
that was tough. All right.
But it's okay. Now you can actually go to the skill tree and upgrade and
Oh,
get
perfect.
more powers, and it gets easier.
So you respawn back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, you just have to go up.
Here we go. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the skill tree is like in the game
Yeah.
background. That's cool.
Yeah, we
Melee
were
attack.
trying to do as little UI as possible.
Okay.
We wanted to integrate everything.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the shield you have. It breaks. It's like before you take actually any damage.
Okay. Kind of like that. Do you have a recommendation? Which one
I
would you-
personally go for shield because
Okay.
I last longer.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just the path basically.
Oh,
Because
okay, cool.
those are actually perks that you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
do I have any
no,
points?
sorry, the skills. Yeah.
Do I have any points right now?
You don't have a perk yet, so you
Oh,
can't
gotcha.
unlock that.
Okay. So do I just
But
back
every
out?
triangle is 3 nodes that you can fill in.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
you can just like pick whatever you want.
Cool. Go with that.
Yeah, it costs 8. You have like 500, so you can
Oh, jeez.
fill all 3 of them.
Cool.
Yeah, and then you unlock as you go.
Oh, awesome. Is that just for the purpose of this build? You have so much?
No, no, it's just gonna be probably more. Actually.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. No, because like, well, also the costs augments every time.
Okay.
Every time you spend more, like now if you go to any, like now it costs 50 instead of 4.
Right. Okay.
So
Gotcha. That makes
the
sense.
price goes up as you fill in
okay.
the skill tree. Yeah.
Is the shield thing passive or is that
It's
an ability?
it's a skill, so
Okay.
you already got it. Yeah, technically this would the area you were in was the second region.
Okay.
that's going to be in the final game. So technically, in the first region, you're going to get the 2 skills that you see on the skill tree right now.
Okay.
So, in this region, you can find other.
Okay. Sweet. I think I used as much as I can right now. Awesome. So now I'm just going over here. It looks like.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. How far away from this point was that horde I just ran into?
Not very far.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I see where I am.
There you go.
What? How do I activate that shield?
Oh, you don't. It's the blue bar over your health.
Perfect. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
it's
Awesome.
passive. It's just like there's gonna be a bubble around you that breaks when it breaks, so you start taking damage.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I do better this time.
You have a lot more health than you did
They just start
before.
raining down.
Yeah. And now you also have your 5 gunshots. Oh, the big ones actually push you back.
Okay.
Yeah. If you stay out of danger for a while, the shield regenerates.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That was a huge waste. All right. See if I can line them.
Yeah. Wow. You got like 6 of them at the same time.
Does it just travel through as many people as possible?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it goes through all the map.
Awesome.
If you could see all the map, it would go through it all. And with the flying monsters, one thing we really liked is that you can chain attacks in the air. So if you hit something, you can jump again.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I survived it.
Yeah,
Unless
you
this guy
did.
kills me.
Nah.
That'd be kind of ironic. All right, here we go. Sweet, get all this
Yeah.
gold. There we go.
And treasure chest.
Sweet.
we got
What is that treasure chest? It's like,
Oh, it's some thorns. Yeah.
Okay.
Because basically like everything in this region has come alive.
Okay.
Including like the ceiling and the floor and everything.
interesting.
There's eldritch powers just abound.
Okay. So there's a gravity well right here?
Yeah. Oh, you picked up guns. Gun shell.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And right there is a skill shrine.
Okay.
Just go hit the middle. Yeah.
Gotcha. Did that just give me a new ability, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Cool. Whoa.
Yeah, you get imbued whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Well, you could also like
Oh,
never
cool.
pick it up. Yeah. So that's the boost to
Sweet.
literally make you go through any gravity field.
Awesome.
It replaces your dodge, so if you were using it, that's what it does.
Where do I go?
Nah, I think you want to go right.
All right. Oh, whoops.
It's okay. Like that one actually
There we
is
go.
finicky for me, but I don't play the game a lot.
Okay.
Because I'm too busy doing the art. I think you want to go
Oh,
left.
gosh,
Yeah.
now I'm going back up above it. All right,
Yeah.
this makes sense now. It's all
There's a
coming.
treasure chest.
Sweet.
Oops.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
Got a little too
Oh no.
overzealous in my combo. Get back
I think
there.
you could have cheesed it and just like gone left if you double jump and then dash in the air.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of places you can get with just dash.
Interesting. So am I going
Yep,
to the
go
left?
down. Yeah, there we go.
Made it. Just pretty easy to bring up the map. Just hold the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't want like same for the hub. Like
Yeah.
we didn't want anything in as little as possible in the actual UI.
Okay.
So everything is we try to put it in game.
Oh, that's cool. I think that just like now she's like dashing in her attacks too. Now that I got that, or is
No.
that maybe that just?
Oh, that's just a dash. Yeah,
okay,
that's just the
maybe I
actual
was just pressing it,
boost.
didn't realize it.
Well, it replaces your dodge, so you were used to like
Gotcha.
using your dodge, so
Cool.
that's probably just what happened.
Right. Probably overthinking it.
Oh, it's okay. I understand. I do the same.
Yeah, I really like the art style on this. Oops.
For the art side, we already like had kind of like a visual. Oh, that's a new enemy.
Dang it.
We already had like a style kind of set in stone for with our last game.
Sure.
So we kind of just like built from there.
What was your last game?
Joking.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was,
when did that release? Was that 2 years ago, or was that?
that was 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing that.
We obviously went with a darker tone.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this
I was
game.
gonna say.
Oh, you can destroy that. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, they're spawned by the mages that you saw.
Okay.
They just want to block you in because they don't like you.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like a lot of things like me in the game. So how much like emphasis are you putting on story? Or are you kind of putting like that on a back seat just so you can, for a
For
traditional
now,
match, right?
in any version until like I think the very last one, we're gonna leave most of the story out,
Okay.
so that it's mostly like in the final version and people get the full idea at the same time.
Okay.
But yeah, there's gonna be story integrated in there. We're trying to do it as smoothly as possible, so you don't actually like get stopped and have to listen or read story bits.
Okay. Oh, I just did like a charge attack. I didn't know I had.
Yeah, you have one you can charge up. Yeah, that one. That one you can do up and down.
Oh, cool. Oh, sweet. Okay.
You're getting used to that.
Yeah, no, it's really satisfying to use.
Oh, that's gonna be that's the fun part. The most fun part.
This is?
Yeah.
Oh man. This machine graveyard doesn't look too inviting. Night Ether does a skull above me on the map. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Better jump.
Oh.
And there you go. You've done.
All right.
You've done
Dang.
the whole demo.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
That was fun. We can jump back in and show a little more of it. We got like 5 more minutes.
Sure.
Cool.
I think if you load back in, you're gonna still have your shards.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I can rank up a little bit maybe?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That demo was done really short, but oh no, you didn't. Oh,
Oh,
you don't
either
have
way.
them.
Dang.
Oh.
Either way.
But yeah, it's we just wanted to give a taste basically.
Okay. Cool.
Which I think worked.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it feels really. Oh, are these all gun
Whoa, you did. You picked up a
Figured
lot
might
of
as
ammo
well. Yeah.
for some reason.
There we go. Will those be on the ground long enough, like for me to go back up
Oh,
and
they
get
stay
them?
forever.
Oh, perfect. So I
Yeah.
can just
Any drop actually
might as well use
stays
one
yeah.
right now.
Oh
For that
yeah,
one guy.
any drops actually stays in there forever. So
Gotcha.
yeah. For a while we had a health drop,
Okay.
but in our newest builds, we're gonna have probably potions that you're gonna have like a few per round, and then you can use them
Okay.
as you wish, and then you can replenish them. But yeah,
Oh, okay, so I see what you meant by like chaining the aerial attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
it mostly works when you have a lot of aerial enemies. But it's woo. Yeah, the gun is fun, but it has a lot of drawbacks.
Or pushbacks.
Yeah. Well, also drawback because you can just like end up in spikes and it could be the end of you.
Yep. All right, we'll see. To end it, we'll see how I do without the upgrades here.
Now that you've done it once.
Yeah. Maybe I have more bullets this time around.
That's true. Nice.
Oh man, I feel so much less safe without that bubble shield around me.
I know. Yeah, when I usually like play this and I get to that part, I just like run around until it recovers.
Or I'm out of bullets. It sucks.
Regenerates. Oh no.
Try to isolate them.
It's okay, you're almost done though.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm close to dying too.
Oh no.
Damn.
Oh, so close though.
Close.
Like that was
Close
the
enough.
all that would spawn. So.
Man. All right. Well, cool. Well, so this is, we'll go back to the skill screen quick.
Yeah.
Show people the tree one last time before we switch off. Just kind of want to see what this is. So this is the strength path more? But
Yeah,
there's
this
shields
is
and
the
stuff.
attack you were charging up.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Increases your gun's damage? It seemed like it already had like pretty high damage.
Oh, you can go all the way. Like you can go like pretty much gun path if you wanted, like tech path.
Yeah,
Just like have the gun to be maximized and everything.
cool. Awesome, sweet. So that was Sundered from Thunderloaders Games,
Yeah.
who also made Jotun. Joannie, thanks so much for coming on to show us.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
And yeah, we love having people on. We're gonna have Dimball Games come on to show us where the water tastes like wine next. But again, that is Sundered. It will be out on Steam in July.
Yeah, Steam and PS4.
Steam and PS4 in July
Yep.
from Thunderloaders Games. So yeah, I just played it. That was really fun. I'm looking forward to playing more. But Joannie, thanks so much for showing to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and have a great GDC. We'll see you
Thank
around.
you.
Awesome.
Yeah, see you around.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
For those just joining on YouTube or Twitch or GameSpot, wherever you happen to be watching this, we are doing our Indie Mix GDC 2017 live stream. We're just swapping out. We have 4 more games to show. We showed Punch Planet, fighting game, and we just showed Sundered and Metroidvania. Now we have Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. I have Janneman Nordhagen here. I'm going to bring on right now to show off this game. We can jump into it in a second. We got Eric Tay is setting this stuff up for us. Janneman, so nice to have you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks.
Yeah. So you used to. I met you first when you were with Fulbright Company working on
Yeah,
Gone
that's
Home.
right, yep.
Yeah. So you were programming for them, and then you branched off to do your own thing with Dimbulb.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And this is it, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Awesome. So yeah, we could jump right into this then.
Let's do
Bring
it.
up the game.
Yeah. So this is a game about traveling and telling stories.
Okay.
It's all about kind of the idea of American folklore. This idea that as stories and songs get kind of passed around from person to person, they change and grow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. I'm this character right here, sort of a personification of the idea of folklore.
Okay.
I'm gonna start by.
Is this a skeleton with a bindle?
That's right.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm kind of a hobo skeleton. So there's a lot of text in this game. We'll kind of gloss over this on stream here, but
Okay.
I'm going to this place, seeing a little like adventure kind of thing. This is a little story choice thing. I get to look at this. It's a family who's trying to sell me a violin for money. I don't have that amount of money, so I'm going to say no. Sure, I'll buy this violin. So here we learn like, oh my gosh, this is one of the members of the family, this girl, it's her violin, Louise Ames, she says. She shouts at you as the car peels away. So that's interesting. I'm gonna leave the violin behind because I don't want it. But when I've done this, I got a story out of it. Like I can tell people the story of this weird violin that I had, this deal.
Cool.
So the title of this game, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, is this line that shows up in a bunch of different folk songs and stories and things like that. And I chose that for the game because it's sort of has this idea of this thing gets passed along from song to song, from place to place.
Sure.
All sorts of different people use it in their thing.
Okay.
And so that's sort of what you're doing in this game, is you're taking these stories and you're telling them forward.
Cool.
But the important part is actually these people that you meet here. You sit around this campfire with various folks.
Okay.
This is someone we've met before. Her name is Althea. She's a blues singer, and she sold her soul to the devil
Okay.
for the power to play guitar well.
That's is Althea a Grateful Dead song?
It is actually.
Cool.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the name comes from.
That's the connection I'm making.
She tells us a little bit. She's already told us a bit about herself because we talked to her before.
Okay.
But now, talking to her a bit more, she tells us all this. When the devil found me, I was on the edge of that cliff. He had seen deep inside me. He knew, and we made a deal. So then she asks you, hey, I'm in the mood for a good story. I'm telling you something about myself, so I want to hear something from you.
Okay.
And I've got an entire collection of stories here that I've built up.
These tarot cards?
These are tarot cards,
Cool.
yeah. So that's sort of a hook into the mystical side of things. This, as you can tell from this woman who sold her soul to the devil, this is not entirely realistic game about traveling and telling stories. There's a little bit of the American folklore kind of creeps into the world. There's this fantastical, psychedelic, surreal aspect of things. So I'm going to tell her this story because I think that's a happy one. See what she says. This is, again, one of these stories that I found wandering around previously. She likes that one. I get a little bit, you can see this eye at the top sort of starting to open. That tells me she's liking these stories. We're kind of connecting on a level. If we get far enough along, I'll get to see more of her story. That's how I got to chapter 2 here. Eventually I might get to see kind of her true self, what she is really like. So I told her a story about faith. She's going to tell me something about faith, trust, things like that. So she says, when I met the devil, he looked like a man. Deep sunken eyes, the color of a peach pit. His smile like a broke branch. He looked no more or less trustworthy than any other white man I had known in my short life. So this writing, by the way, this is by Gita Jackson, who's an incredibly talented writer. She's currently at Kotaku, but she's worked for a bunch of different places in the past.
Cool.
Each of these characters is written by a different person. So we have 16 different characters.
Oh,
they each have their own story, and they've each been written by someone. A bunch of names that people may have heard of writing this stuff.
That's
really
awesome.
happy to have these talented authors.
And so different characters will like react and respond differently to different stories you tell them?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
they have different preferences about what sort of stories they might want to hear.
Okay.
And of course they've got their own stuff that they're trying to get across.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep trying to tell her the sort of things she's in the mood for right now. She liked that one also, and I can see that I'm kind of making it along here. The time's also passing right now, so this is nighttime, but when the sun rises, I'll be done telling stories. So I need to try and get through this by then.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not many things colored folks can use to get free. You work twice as hard and get half as much. I thought money was a ticket out, but money come and go like everything else. So I had told her a story about freedom and like the freedom of the road and things, and so she's telling me about how she thought being rich would get her freedom, but it didn't work out for her.
Okay.
She wants a funny story.
This art style is really striking.
Thanks, yeah, this is, so we're doing this kind of hybrid 2D, 3D thing. All the character stuff is in this 2D, which is gorgeous. Our artist is fantastic at this. And then we also have that 3D world that we were looking at before.
Cool.
So tell her a funny story here, why not?
So she's reacting really well to these stories then?
Yeah,
She's, like,
yeah. So
interested in them.
I have an idea because I've been playing this game for a while. I have an idea of what sort of stories these are and what people will like and react to and things like that. So and I understand what my story list is. If I hadn't done quite as much stuff, if I hadn't had as much, I wouldn't have much choice here. And that's not too bad because as you can see, there's a lot of different categories here, right? So she has a bunch of things to say, and I can only hear so much of it every time. So I can either, if I want like more pieces of her story, I can either kind of extend out the conversations that I have with her, or I can play multiple times, and the next time I meet her, I can maybe ask different things or share different stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell the story of this gunshot man that I met. And these
Damn,
are
that
sort
sounds
of,
harsh.
yeah. So the little vignette things are also great writing. They're really spectacular little stories where you get to choose the outcome, and you get to, or not necessarily the outcome actually, but you get to choose kind of what sort of story it might be.
Okay.
So there's depending on the different ways you look at something, it might be a scary story or it might be a love story. These things change.
So you're going around swapping these stories and getting new ones from people and telling your own.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an end game in mind, or is it strictly for the enjoyment of the writing and for learning these new characters?
Yeah, mostly. So it is a narrative game. So as you go through this, what you're trying to get is you're trying to uncover the story of all these characters.
Mm-hmm.
There is, however, sort of a goal to find them all, to do that. And along the way, it's a little bit challenging to survive in this harsh thing. You know, you are a hobo, right? You're carrying your bindle. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot to eat, things like that.
Yeah.
You're living the life that these people are as well.
Okay.
So it's a little bit challenging to get all the way west, for example, if you're heading to California. I think tell one last story. I'm going to tell the one that we actually picked up a second ago. Oops, actually, that was the wrong one, but that's fine. She actually didn't like that one, so she responded poorly to that.
Okay.
Whoops. But she still tells me a little bit about what her deal is. I was beautiful once. You can't tell, but I was beautiful once. And then the sun's come up, so we're done talking to her. Just one more thing to tell me. Thought it would last forever. Do you understand? I was not just a star, I was an inventor. No one played guitar like me, no one. I deserved what I had. I thought it would last forever. It should have. So probably next time we meet her, she might tell us more about, yeah, there we go, chapter 3. So she might tell us more about the downfall. She had this thing, she sold her soul to the devil, she was playing guitar, and maybe next time we learn what went wrong. Because deals with the devil never go well, right?
This overworld map is a scale United States?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So we're here in Georgia. You can see Atlanta behind me there, and we're about to cross over into state line into Alabama.
Interesting.
And then I'm going to walk along here. I could actually I could hitchhike, although not likely many people will pick me up.
I probably wouldn't pick him up.
Right? Who would? Yeah, gigantic hobo skeleton. But I'm going to actually hear a story here. This is a chance I get to have. This guy says, "Oh, I heard this story. It's great. It's 110% true." Okay, sure. And he tells us the story of a violin where the owner is the only one who can play it right. And sort of, wow, hey, this sounds really familiar. This is a lot like that violin story we had before. So this is an example of like a story that's kind of been told around and come back to you maybe a little bigger and a little better than it was before. People kind of embellishing it and telling you more.
Okay.
So I'm gonna actually have a list here of all the stories I've got, and I can go and look and see that one actually leveled up. It became a level 2 story instead of level 1.
Gotcha. And so how does that affect, like, when you relay this story? Like, if it's leveling up a story, how does that factor in?
Well, so we saw that sort of sun meter at the top of the conversation thing, and so like that progresses at a certain speed, and the more, the better these stories you tell, then the more it'll kind of resonate with that person, and you can have a better chance of sort of getting to know them and learning more about them.
Okay.
I'm gonna go talk, or I'm gonna go see what's happening here in this story. Walk along the tracks for an hour towards the smell of the coal baking in the sun. The train is idling at the station, sputtering exhausted. A child paces up and down the line of black carriages, clutching a bundle of rags to her chest. She cranes her neck, figuring the height of the cars. I'll say hello to her. You scared her half to death. She stares at you, absolutely petrified as you approach. It was an accident, she whispers. All you can see in the heap of blankets she carries in her arms is the infant's tiny leg, pale and blue. So she's carrying, for some reason, a dead child.
Dang.
Yeah, so this game, sort of the mood of this game is this idea that the American dream isn't here for everybody, and everyone you meet, and a lot of these vignettes kind of express this sadness and this frustration. And sort of the idea behind the title, where the water tastes like wine, there is no such place, right? There's a lot of people searching for the promised land, searching for El Dorado, searching for all sorts of their heart's desire, the American dream, and you never find it because it's not actually a place you can find. So here we are. I've got, it's like night is falling. You can see the sun setting here. So I'm going to go ahead and camp one more time, talk to someone else. This is, as it says, as you get tired, your health starts going down and things like that. So I need to find this campfire and start resting here.
Okay. to clarify, what like platforms are you aiming for with this?
This is going to be PC, Mac, Linux on Steam, and then we've PS4 and Xbox One as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, to start.
You don't have like a release window yet?
No, it's going to be sometime this year.
Okay.
And that's all we're ready to say at this point.
Cool.
But yeah.
Did you want to show us any more for that, or that's kind of
So that was kind of it. We finished with that last character, and we saw them transform kind of into their true self, and show us what's going on.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's so it's Jonathan Nordhagen from Dimbolt Games. We will be showing a few more games throughout. I don't know if you want to play any more, or you want to.
I can. I'll wander around a little bit
sure.
and maybe
Just
see
show us
what
more of
else
this
I can
overworld.
find here. Yeah, exactly.
I really like this overworld style. It's kind of like a hand-drawn.
Thanks. Yeah, we were trying to match the same illustration style that you saw in the character thing. I'm gonna see what I can find here. If this is a new thing. Two men identical stand sentry over a third body, half covered with a canvas sheet. Might as well grab a shovel, being that you're here, the man in front says. So they're bearing a body. Interesting. Sure, I'll help.
Okay.
You and John dig a hasty grave while his brother keeps a lookout. Closer now, you see the corpse shares their face. Tom was the oldest by an hour, John says, though I guess George and me, we've got a few hours on him now. So two brothers killed their triplet? Something like that? Weird. Mean son of a bitch, beat the life out of us. Did it on our folks that way. Got to be too much, so we said last night we'd do him in. Kin only gets you so far. George went and dragged him out here to do it. I would have helped, you know, but George is the strong one out of me and him. I thank Jesus he's gone, I do. I thought I'd have trouble saying that, but I don't. All right. Wow.
I probably wouldn't know what to say there either. Just either pray or not respectfully.
John squints at the body. Tom's nose wasn't bent like that, he says, uncertainly, and then despair floods his face. He looks ready to throw up. You leave him to it. So it seems like maybe they murdered the wrong brother. So this the
dark.
vignette writing was also done by, we have a number of really talented writers working on stuff like this.
Cool.
Again, it's sort of a bunch of great people doing all this stuff for us. So
cool.
Yeah.
And this is all like taking place across the American South, or do you
That's
go
right.
anywhere
So
else
we're right
to the west?
now in the southeastern United States, but actually the game has the whole United States. You can go from up from Maine all the way to California, Oregon.
Cool.
All over. So yeah, no Alaska, Hawaii though. They're
Damn.
a bit out.
Just the
out.
mainland?
You can't really hitchhike there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. So cool.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. So Jan Nordhagen, thanks so much for coming on to show us where the water tastes like wine.
My pleasure.
Oh,
Thanks
that's
so much for
an
having me.
appropriate pause screen, San Francisco.
Yeah. Yep, there
A
it
little
is.
postcard pause menu. Awesome. So this will be
San Francisco.
again. You don't have a specific release window yet, but it'll be PC, Mac, Linux, and then PS4 and Xbox One.
Yep, later this year.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thanks so much
Thanks
for
so
showing
much.
us, and have a good GDC. We
too.
appreciate you coming on. Cool. For everybody joining us, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube or GameSpot, we are here doing the Indie Mix GDC 2017 live stream. We have shown a few games, shown where the water tastes like wine, shown Punch Planet, the fighting game, and we showed Sundered, the Metroidvania. Now we have Beacon coming on, and have our next guest. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Keithan Zip from Monothetic.
Nice to meet you, Keithan. And we're going to jump into Beacon. Can you tell us, while we're loading up, tell us about this game that we're about to see?
So Beacon's a sci-fi action roguelike that plays like a twin-stick shooter. You've crashed on an unidentified alien planet, and you need to sort of run through the planet, explore, find gear upgrades, collect DNA off of enemies that you've killed.
Cool.
And when you eventually die, you're given the opportunity to integrate any of that DNA you've collected in your previous life to sort of change your statistics to
Cool.
fit your playstyle and also give you a chance of getting mutations.
Cool. Yeah, so we're just going to hand the controller to someone off screen while me and you talk about it. I'm sure I have a lot of questions. But yeah, cool. So we're going to jump right into Beacon right here. It's just a pause menu, but give the controller over to somebody so we can show this off. So when, just to start, I guess, what platforms, what kind of, do you have a release window yet at all for Beacon?
We're focusing on PC right now, but we're also planning to release on Xbox One, on Mac, and PS4 as well if we can.
Cool.
Release date, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe early 2018 though.
Okay. You said there's like roguelike elements. There's like a procedural generation as well?
Yes,
Okay.
the levels are all randomly generated. It's a very faction-rich world. There's many different factions that you can find, so every time that you play again, the level will be regenerated. Different factions will be populating different areas of the game. Like, there might be droids one time you play it, there will be more bugs the other times you play it.
Okay.
All of the items and mutations are all very heavily based on those factions as well. So, for example, if you loot a lot of DNA from the robots and you integrate that DNA into yourself, if you get mutations in the next life, you'll start to maybe your arm will get replaced by a robot arm, for example.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I like the art style so far. So you said, where does this take place? You said it's sci-fi, like different planet?
An unidentified alien planet that
Okay.
you've crash landed on.
Gotcha.
So everything's sort of been destroyed in the wreckage except for your clone bay and your weapon.
Cool. So I imagine it's going to be a semi-difficult game?
Yeah, you're definitely not going to beat it on the first try.
Okay.
Death is sort of one of the main core components of the loop as well. So being a roguelike, you're going to die a lot. We try to turn death into a mechanic, though, with the cloning, with the DNA being able to be switched when you die, instead of just a hard reset for the game.
Cool. Oh, damn. You're like fire retardant armor?
Yeah, you can dodge over the fire.
Gotcha.
So he's just going through the tutorial right now,
Okay.
going through all the base mechanics. So dodge, roll, grenade.
Cool.
There's a lot of little puzzles and traps like that as well that are placed throughout the levels.
Okay. And so if you were to load up a new game right now, the beginning would be different? Or is
This is the tutorial, so that's the
Gotcha.
same every
Okay.
time, but after you get through the tutorial, the level will be randomly generated.
Cool. Obviously, like, collecting, like, upgrades when you can.
Yeah. There's a lot of different types of items. So you can get new weapons, you can get new grenade mods. This is an auxiliary item, so this is a reusable item that has a cooldown every time you use it.
Okay. Cool. So you can get something better than you start with a plasma pistol every time?
Yeah.
Okay. Dang. That looks pretty effective. This is a cool looking world. It reminds me of kind of like, I like the isometric view and everything, that kind of almost top down. But yeah.
We started off in 2D actually, so
Okay.
that's partly where the style comes from. And then when we started switching to doing everything in 3D, we wanted to keep that kind of similar 2D perspective.
Okay.
So it's rendering in 3D perspective, but the field of view is pretty low, so it still looks a little bit 2D.
The brass beast. Sounds intimidating.
So this is a special weapon variant that he found in a little secret zone. So that was an old version of Freya up there who died in a previous life before she was recloned.
Okay.
So that old dead clone left a weapon back there that she kind of tinkered with before she died, and now
Okay.
this new clone of Freya found it on her dead body. So he's going to keep the shotgun.
Okay. So you can cover one. You can
You
have
can
one
only
at a time.
carry one weapon at a
Gotcha.
time.
Curious to see how this shotgun works.
So this is the variant of the normal ship shotgun weapon. So this one, it fires out extra projectiles that will bounce off of the environment once.
Okay.
So you can kind of sometimes get a lucky shot where one of the balls that it shoots out will bounce off and hit an enemy.
Okay. So what's it like there's a lot of variety in the enemies? I'm seeing these shielded enemies right now.
Yeah, between each faction, there's about 5 to 8 enemies per faction right now. So
And-
that was a couple of the droid enemies. He'll probably run into some bugs at some point.
Oh, okay. Are those the two factions, droids and bugs?
Those are the two main ones
Okay.
right now. There's also the native faction, which they have some little raptor enemies, also some little bugs that roll around.
Oh, okay.
When you find them.
Yeah, how much emphasis are you putting on like a narrative? Because that's kind of tough with like roguelike games,
Yeah,
right?
that's something that we're trying to balance. So there is definitely a lot of lore and a lot of background to the world, but we try not to force that on anyone. So there are narrative elements that spawn throughout the game. And when you find them, you'll open them up and there will be a text prompt you can read, but those are all completely optional. We don't want to force anyone to have to read a bunch of text if they just want to go around shooting robots.
Okay. Yeah, when I play roguelikes, I play it for the systems and mechanics more than I play for the narrative, but
There definitely is a lot of that background information, though, if you want to sort of sniff it out and learn more about the world.
Just to lend flavor for those who want to go looking for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he's heading into a heavily fortified prism fortress right now. This is going to lead to a loot area. So now he's on the surface of the planet.
Okay. So what's the overarching objective? Like if I get into a new game and I'm trying to, like upgrade my character, but what's the destination that I'm trying to get to, like to survive long enough to get to?
So the main goal of the game, since you've crashed on this planet, you need to find your distress beacon to signal for escape. So that's the end goal of the entire game. The level end goal, though, is you need to find your beacon locator, which is sort of a little piece of machinery that was dropped as the ship was crashing that will help you locate your beacon.
Okay.
So that's kind of the level end flag.
Cool. So there's levels. How many levels are you looking at? Or do you
there's final game, probably about 6 levels.
Okay.
This build is 3.
And then say you beat one, if you die in the second level, you have to go back to the beginning of the game, or just the second
it
level?
resets back to the first level every time
gotcha.
you die. That's sort of the security protocol over cloning bay. Every
Gotcha,
time
cool.
you died, you get recloned back to the cloning bay at the beginning of the game to retry to find the beacon.
Okay.
So it's possible she's been trapped on this planet for years, just constantly trying to find her beacon, dying, and then being recloned to try again.
Okay.
So you'll definitely run into a lot of the previous bodies from the other Freyas who've died attempting to find the beacon.
Okay, gotcha. I imagine by the time you get to the end of the 6th level, things will be pretty tense,
Yeah.
hoping you don't die.
The enemies will keep evolving as well the further you get in the game. Like more difficult enemies will start spawning more often and in less telegraphed areas.
What kind of inspiration were you guys drawing from? What kind of roguelikes do you like to play?
Binding of Isaac's probably my favorite. That was initially
great.
what inspired me to want to make a roguelike in the first place.
With Edmund McMillan made that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. You played any like Spelunky?
Aaron definitely does guy
Yeah.
playing the game. I haven't played it so much though. He loves Spunky.
Yeah. It's that game's fantastic. I used to play it all the time, but I haven't in a while. But I love roguelikes. I mean, there's that big resurgence of roguelikes in recent years. 5 years ago, you started seeing everything after Spelunky and FTL and everything. What are the advantages? How many people are working on Beacon?
About 6 or 7 right now,
Okay.
but we've mostly been working part-time the last few years.
Okay.
We're trying to push to get more of us full-time though to bring the game to release.
Gotcha. I'm sure it's great to be at GDC, right, with the Indie Mix team?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's especially easy because I live about a block away from here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have all the developers in one place for GDC in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Love having people in and everything.
So we found the key in the loot area, and now he's going to collect his loot.
Okay. So there's a risk reward involved. Some areas you might not have to go into because they're difficult, even though they might yield more loot.
Yeah, definitely. So this area, there's always one loot area with a major upgrade that spawns in every level.
Okay.
So you kind of have to explore and find it.
Gotcha.
There's also a lot of little secrets and extra loot, like tiny crates you can find, pickups and health in that you can find if you just explore a bit more. Some of them are locked behind puzzles as well, so you have to figure out how do I get up here or how do I get this item.
Okay. Damn, these enemies are pretty fast.
Yeah, that's the fastest one, definitely. If you're not careful, they'll just chase after you and beat you down.
I was noticing there's not a lock-on, it's all the right analog stick, right?
Yeah, right now we have to do
Damn.
some improvements to the control,
Okay.
definitely.
Damn, that looked tough.
So now that he's died, he'll go to the reconstitution screen and he'll get a chance to integrate any DNA he's found to change
okay.
his statistics.
Cool.
We only found one piece of DNA, unfortunately. Not a great one, in my opinion. I always prefer upgrading speed and critical chance if I can.
Okay.
Each faction also affects different statistics, so if you prefer a certain statistic, you might want to focus on trying to kill enemies of a specific faction that are going to drop statistics that you like more.
Okay.
He didn't get a mutation either, but every time you integrate a piece of DNA, there's a chance that it'll give you a mutation on your next clone.
Oh, cool.
So that'll physically change your character and give you a larger gameplay altering effect. Like, for example, if you put a lot of the bug DNA in, there's a chance that you'll grow a carapace on your back, and then you won't take any damage if your back is facing the enemy.
Oh, that's awesome. You don't take any damage at all?
Yeah.
What can you talk about any other mutations you might get?
You can grow horns on your head, sort of.
Okay.
So then when you roll into enemies, you'll damage them because the horns
Oh,
whack
awesome.
into them when you roll.
Kind of like a bull charge?
Yeah.
So you're just gradually becoming an alien through
Yeah.
evolution?
So you can get up to 5 mutations, and they all show up visually on the player as well. So you can get pretty mutated the more DNA you integrate.
Awesome.
So that's kind of a part of the narrative as well, is by the time she gets rescued, how mutated is she? Like, are they even going to want to rescue her at this point?
Yeah.
With all the weird mutations that she's got?
Oh, that's awesome. This is not what we expected to pick up. We thought we were looking for a human, but we found this horned carapace thing. What kind of there's trees upside down?
Yeah, they're kind of like weird little
Yeah.
alien trees. They have some fruit on the top too.
Just the flora and fauna around here aren't too normal. That's awesome looking. What do we know about this protagonist? I think you kind of talked a little bit about her, but
So
she's just a
she
clone of-
works in the private military sector.
Okay.
She was kind of just doing a shipment run, and you don't really know why she's crashed on the planet. That's part of the mystery in the game that
Okay.
you unlock the more you play. So that's kind of explained more the deeper you get into the game, the more narrative elements you explore, you'll get more background information on that. Like, what is this planet?
Yeah.
But you don't know why these droids are here, or why they're here in such big numbers, like why they have such huge structures on this planet.
Sure. And
It's
you
all
said
kind of
you-
alien to her too.
Okay. And you said like I forgot what we were talking about just now. The narrative itself is kind of unfolds as you go, but it's kind of like taking a back seat, or you want to stress
Yeah,
that it's there for
definitely
people that want to
focused on
find
the
it.
gameplay, yeah.
Sure. What was
Uh,
that? You said it started in 2D, and then you decided to go somewhere else with it, with
Yeah.
the isometric view.
That was mainly because we were all 3D artists by trade,
Okay.
and when we got to animating the characters, it's pretty difficult in 2D sometimes.
Yeah.
So we decided let's just switch it to 3D, and we tried to emulate the 2D feel of it a little bit.
Okay.
But now that it's in 3D, you can see there's a lot more depth to it. Like when you walk around the basalts, they shift as you move instead of just being a solid 2D element.
Okay. So these are some of the natives you said.
Yeah.
These raptors.
Uh-oh. So all the different enemies drop different items as well. If you kill the raptors, you'll get native DNA. They also drop eggs sometimes that you can eat.
Okay. Presumably for health.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're shooting the health off of the tree there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Cool. Yeah. For those just joining and not asking, this is Beacon from Monothetic. And
Yep.
This is twin stick shooters. You can see isometric, and it'll be releasing on PC, Xbox One, confirmed right now.
Yes.
And then,
Hopefully PS4
Hopefully
as well.
PS4.
Late 2017, early 2018.
Cool. And yeah, just joining, if you're in the YouTube chat, the Twitch chat, the GameSpot chat, we have those up. So if you have any questions for Keith in here or myself, obviously he knows way more about this game than I do, but we have another 2 indie developers coming on. We're going to be showing Fallen Legion and Tacoma after this, but yeah. Right now we're looking at Beacon, which is a roguelike sci-fi twin stick shooter. Which looks
He's
pretty
gonna
difficult.
die soon.
Yeah, if you're just joining, we're kind of screwed.
Gonna melee him. Oh.
Ah, damn. I think he picked up a DNA though. Nope, at least one. Plus health from that dinosaur.
Dinosaurs drop DNA a lot.
Cool. Can you eventually get like dinosaur
Oh yeah, you
mutations?
can get dinosaur mutations. Hopefully you'll get one now. You can grow a tail that'll make you move faster. You can get scales.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome.
So this is one of the mutations. This is a prism mutation, the robots. So now he has a chance when he gets a critical hit to go into slow motion for a few seconds. So it'll make it a lot easier to sort of just aim and plan out your shots when
Cool.
you get the slow motion effect.
Kind of like a bullet time mechanic almost. That's awesome. Did that mutation come from the dinosaur DNA?
No, that came from the robot one.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
now she has those little connectors on her arms.
Okay, interesting. So will you carry that mutation into the next time you get cloned?
Yeah, mutations last about 3 lives right now.
Okay.
So DNA is permanent until you get a mutation, and then that piece of DNA is locked in your genome until the mutation is fixed.
Okay.
So until you get a mutation, you can mix and match DNA however you want, but once you get that mutation, that piece of DNA is locked in until you've played 3 times.
Okay.
Okay, now he's running into some of the bug enemies. They sort of, they're one of the native factions of the planet. They've lived on there, they kind of evolved there. The robots in them are sort of in a constant war in the background of the game, so you find them fighting each other sometimes while you're just running through yourself.
Okay.
Like this landmark, it looks like the bugs infested one of the Prism outposts, so they kind of killed all the droids that were there already.
Yeah, okay. She said you'll gradually find out. If you care about the story, you'll find out what the droids are doing here,
Yeah.
what this planet is.
Because they do definitely have goals. There's a reason they're on this planet.
Okay. They seem pretty aggressive.
His grenade just went right past him.
You used a steroid injector? What was that?
So that's a pickup. That's a one-time use item. The steroid injector, that gives you increased resistance for about 16 seconds. So once you activate that, you take very little damage while it's
Okay.
active. A couple other pickups are the adrenaline injector, so you'll get super fast speed and stamina regen for a little bit.
Okay. So how many times, like when you're playing from a fresh new game, how many times do you think you play through the first mission before you get past it? Before you, like,
I'd say probably for a new player 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
So we sort of definitely want to have a curve where you need to play a few times. You need to get a bit of DNA and some mutations to sort of increase your power so you can keep progressing further into the game.
Sure. I like how the character visually changes based on the mutations too.
Yeah.
Eventually just be like a droid dinosaur bug, like a hybrid of all 4
Yeah,
of them.
you can mix all of the factions' DNA together so you can get a mutation from every faction in the
Oh,
game
that's
and
awesome.
just be like a hideous mess. We found the brass beast again.
There we go. Is that not too common?
There's about 5 of those weapon variants now, so he got the same one twice.
Okay.
But every time that weapon will spawn there, it'll be a random weapon.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. So we'll, assuming he dies, no offense, but we'll probably go till the next death before we thank you for coming on and swap you out. But yeah, this looks fun. I want to dive into this a little more.
Got a piece of DNA too. Volatile one. That's a good one.
Dang,
They
that
all
looked
have
really good.
stats.
Is that speed, health, and some? I didn't even see what else.
I think
that
it was like plus health, plus speed, and then minus 2 other statistics.
Okay.
So there's 4 types of DNA. There's base DNA, which is mostly going to be 1 positive and 1 negative statistic. Volatile is a lot more randomized in a lot larger amounts, but it also will have like 2 positives and 2 negatives usually.
Okay.
And then fortified is it's always just 2 to 3 positive fully statistics, but it's less likely to give you a mutation.
Okay.
So there's sort of a little meta game with like which pieces do I want to integrate?
Right.
Do I want to focus on stats or mutations more?
All right, here's some more bugs, right?
Slow motion bug.
Oh, so that's that mutation you
Yeah.
mentioned, the droid one.
Nope.
there's
They
another
didn't
one.
got the slow motion.
Cool. So we'll probably have to wrap this up, unfortunately. Now I do
he's
want to watch
about
more of
at
this
the end
game.
of the level.
Oh, cool. It's a good,
Oh,
good way to
Raptor's
end
chasing
it.
him.
It's a positive way to end it. Is that the beacon you're looking for?
It's the beacon locator.
Oh, okay.
So now it's sort of giving her a hint, like you need to go this way to get to the
Okay.
beacon, but at the end of every level you'll find one of those.
Cool. Well, fortunately, that's all the time we have. Keefin, thanks so much for coming on to show us Beacon. That is a isometric twin-stick roguelike sci-fi shooter in which you kind of manipulate your clone's DNA to evolve and survive on the planet. That will be PC, Xbox One, and then hopefully PS4, you said,
Yes.
and later 2017 is when you're hoping to release.
Yes, possibly early 2018, we'll see.
Okay, cool. And so, yeah, if you're joining us, we are doing the Indie Mix live stream here at GameSpot. We're having a few indie developers come in to show off the games before they do the Indie Mix event tonight in San Francisco. Yeah, just for more on Beacon, stay tuned to GameSpot. We're going to swap Keefe out. Thanks so much for coming on to show us.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, for those joining, we have the YouTube chat and the GameSpot and the Twitch chats open. We're going to rotate another developer in here soon. But yeah, if you have any questions for myself or anybody coming on, we're going to show Fallen Legion next. It's going to be sounds like a kind of crazy game. It's like an RPG on PS4, Vita. It's like a control up to 4 characters in this battle system. We'll jump into that in a second when we have Spencer, I believe, come on to show off the game and talk about it. So we're just miking them up and everything. But like I said, if you have any questions in the YouTube or Twitch or GameSpot chats, I'm happy to answer anything I know. But like I said, I'm really excited because they're showing off these games and I'm getting to learn more before Indie Mix events start tonight and everything. Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff going up this week at GameSpot. Wednesday, we have Arcane Studios' Raph Colantonio coming in to show us Prey for about an hour. That'll be Wednesday, right after The Lobby, our live show, which I host, which you can come check out. We'll be showing Prey. We'll be working on a new show that we actually just started. Jake Decker and myself just started Reboot, kind of like take a deeper look, opinion editorial show. I'm miking up Spencer right now. He's going to show us Fallen Legion. So far today we have shown Punch Planet, the fighting game. We've shown Sundered, a Metroidvania. We just showed Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. It was a more narrative-driven, kind of dialogue-heavy game from Dimbald Games. Jonathan Nordhagen used to be at Fulbright Company working on Gone Home, but he branched off to do his own thing. And then we just showed Beacon, which is the isometric sci-fi twin-stick shooter we just showed. And now, in a few seconds, hopefully we're just going to put Spencer on to talk about Fallen Legion, which sounds like a pretty crazy game. Should be fun to watch. We're going to have someone off-screen playing for us so we can talk more about it. But yeah, we have a lot of coverage this week for GDC, so be sure to stay tuned to GameSpot and everything, and we'll keep you posted on everything going on. Like I said, it's great to have these indie developers in and show off all their games. A lot of small teams that make the trip to San Francisco this week, so we're happy to play. All right, cool. Spencer, I believe, right?
Yeah,
cool.
Spencer.
We're going to have you come on.
Hey.
I'm Mike. Nice to meet you.
Spencer, nice to meet you. I brought something for you from Fallen Legion.
Oh, sweet.
Sweet. It's one of our little buttons here.
Got a pin. Sweet. Awesome. So tell me about Fallen Legion.
Yeah, so Fallen Legion is an action RPG, emphasis on action. You're going to control 4 characters at the same time in real time.
Okay.
And on PS4, you play as Princess Cecile, and she's trying to save her crumbling kingdom from an economic collapse. She's not on a quest to save the world. It's really more like a personal quest. So,
okay.
So while you're playing this game, you're going to be making choices on how to rule the kingdom. And these choices will permanently change the story.
Okay.
And you're going to be doing these in the middle of these really fierce and intense fights.
Okay.
So right now we're going to pick a team here. So
damn, he looks like someone I want on my team.
yeah, Zulfikar's a really good defender. All of her characters, all these characters here are weapons that she brought to life using this magical grimoire that she's carrying.
Oh, Mjolnir is Thor's, no.
Yes.
Thor's hammer?
Yes, Thor's hammer. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Cool.
So we picked Longinus. Longinus is really good at extending combos, and Winchester is really good at adding debuffs to characters. So she has a skill that can make enemies stop using spells.
Okay. I like the art style. It's like an old school RPG kind of look to it.
Thank you. Yeah. We're really proud of the art style. We want to make a really beautiful 2D game.
Sure. Spencer, what role do you play on the team?
Well, we are an indie studio, so many roles from programmer to director to designer to writer to sometimes VFX artist. All
right, let me rephrase that. What don't you do on the team?
The music and the artwork and the drawing.
People in the chat are complimenting the music as well.
Yeah, we have a rock orchestra style theme. I can't take any credit for that. That's all of our composers' work.
What on earth is going on here?
Right now we have 4 characters here. Each character is mapped to a different button.
Okay.
So you press circle, Zulfikar attack. You press X, Longinus will attack. You press square, Winchester will attack.
Okay.
And you press the L1 button, you can block. So all attacking and defense happens in real time. So if you block right before an enemy strikes, you can stagger them just like that with Longinus.
So you have to keep track of not only just all 4 of your characters, but also
all the enemy characters.
Okay.
And if you press down and triangle, you can heal. So every time you attack, you recover a little bit of magic mirror. Cecile has 3 spells by default. One is an attack spell called Cassandra's Coil. where she shoots a bunch of fireballs, and then she has Alicia's Blessing, which is a healing spell, and up in triangle is to revive one fallen character.
Okay. So triangle right now is mapped to the healer. Is that her in the back?
Yeah, Princess Cecile, she always uses magic in the back. So it's always mapped. Triangle's always mapped to her.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now we're fighting some bandits here, and these bandits, they do melee attacks, but they also throw their axes, right?
Okay.
And if you perfect block right before an axe hits you, you can actually reflect it back at
Nice.
them, like just like that.
Oh, damn! Good timing. And on multiple levels.
Yeah, and
so there are advantages to like attacking with forgive me, I forget the names of the characters.
Yeah, Zulfikar is the guy with the sword.
Okay.
Longus is the girl with the spear, and Winchester is the girl in the back with the gun.
And there are different advantages to each one's attacks. Obviously, like I'm assuming Winchester, do you want to like do range to maybe hit people toward the other range characters toward the back maybe, or?
Yeah, so they have different abilities to target characters when they use their super attack. So you see that glowing blue flame spot on the 5th slot.
Sure.
So the character that attacks there does a death blow. So the death blow is changed by characters. If Zulfikar is the person on that spot, he'll jump in the air and slam down his sword with Sky Split, and that does heavy damage. But Longinus, who just did her super Wyvern Fang, hits all characters.
Okay.
So she can snipe out back row characters.
Cool.
Winchester's super is Mind Sniper. What she does is she automatically targets any character casting, and it can cancel out their spell.
But you have to time that right. So
Yeah.
like if no one's using a spell, you kind of waste it.
Yeah, kind of
Okay.
like that. So it is a very timing focused game. It's like super lightning fast paced.
Yeah, there's almost like a rhythm I feel like you get into when you start to like learn it, right?
That's exactly what we're going for. It's
Yeah.
a little bit of rhythm combat, and each battle gets a little fiercer. Now we have one of these wolves. And the wolves are some of our fastest enemies because these guys can do a 3-hit combo on you, like that. But you can, if you perfect block right when they attack you can stagger them. And when they're staggered, they also take double damage for a little bit of time, about 5 seconds.
Okay.
So right after this, we're making one of those choices I was talking about. When you make a choice, there'll be 3 different card options that come on the screen. They'll ask you a choice for the story. How do you want to react to the situation? In addition to that, there'll be 3 different buffs that you can pick from. These buffs will help you only throughout the level, but sometimes you might need these. Like one of these buffs might be to revive a fallen character, or maybe a buff will allow you to shoot fireballs instead of regular bullets. But those buffs are also tied to the story, so if you take a buff that revives a character, you might do something terrible for your kingdom.
Okay.
But it depends on what you feel like you want to do.
Yeah. So what's the overarching objective like in the end game?
The overarching objective for the princess is to get back to the kingdom to claim the throne in her name.
Okay.
So the game's come out for both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. The Vita version is actually a different story. You play as her antagonist, the Legate, who's trying to take the throne from her.
Okay.
So they're both racing back to the kingdom to try to claim the throne.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we got through it.
I'm trying to keep up. I'm not even the one controlling
So right now,
it.
there's barbarians that are marching to this remote village. What do you want to do? Do you want to defend the town, or do you want to give this town to these barbarians so they become allies?
Barbarian allies, please.
Okay, manipulate it is. So if we survive this level, we'll see how this decision will impact the world.
Okay, cool. So it's your decisions have consequences.
Yeah.
What are these meters I'm seeing around the individual buttons?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So each white node there is 1 attack.
Oh, okay.
So you can store up to 3 attacks per characters, and if you perfect block an attack, all characters recover 1 bar immediately, so you can counter
Kind of
attack
like
really
action
quickly.
points almost?
Yeah, they
Okay.
are action points.
Cool. Looks like you just
Nice
blocked
block,
them
yeah.
all in. Okay.
Yeah, that attack Bronghorns is a melee attack that also recovers life for the attacker. So that's a good block. Yeah, these goblins are vicious. Also, this is not a level at the beginning of the game. It's like a mid-game level.
I was gonna say, I hope this isn't like the tutorial because I'm screwed.
I kind of felt that we showed the tutorial level might be a little too slow, so we just kind of jumped right into the middle of the game here.
Okay. Do you have a favorite character to use?
My favorite character is actually Winchester.
Okay.
Mainly because she's really good at giving debuffs to characters.
Okay.
So if you cancel it, if you attack with one character and you switch an arrow just like that, there's a blue aura around them. That's called link attack. So So when you cancel attack, you can do an alternate attack. Winchester's alternate attack, she shoots a bullet that reduces the enemy's attack power by 50%.
Okay.
So I think that's really handy. Zolfikar, when you do his link attack, he dashes forward with his shield and can smite an enemy, so he'll attack and defend simultaneously.
Okay.
Nice, we almost got this guy down.
Nice.
That is.
Damn, this looks
I'm
intense.
actually glad that one of my good friends is helping me show this game, because I could not play and talk at the same time.
I can barely talk and watch at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make this game really intense, and like we wanted you to feel stressed out in the best possible way when you're playing this.
Yeah.
Game. Up in triangle to revive. And our voice actress who plays Princess Cecile is Xanthi Wynn. She's actually in Persona 5.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's did a really great job. She helped us get all the voice actors.
She's had a
for the
busy
game.
year.
Very busy year. It's a great year for her. Yeah, blocking is very, very important in this game. So if you block right before the Wyvern attacks you, you can stagger him and he'll fall to the ground. That'll give you, maybe about 1.5 seconds where you can pound on him.
Okay. See, Winchester's down.
Yeah, but it's a duel now. It's a one-on-one.
Oh, man.
We want this game to have some pretty crazy comebacks. And actually, if you lose all of your characters, you still have one more super comeback. Princess Cecile at that point will go into desperation mode. It's a trance where if you mash triangle, you'll recover your magic. If you mash fast enough, you might be able to recover enough magic to shoot like an attack spell to finish an enemy off, or revive a character. Like,
Oh, man.
So close.
Damn.
But we've had some really crazy comebacks with that. Should we retry the boss battle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you beat that Wyvern.
Yeah. We've had some crazy comebacks where we've had someone with no people left have come back and beat a boss.
Okay.
And that's something that, like, when I was programming in, I was watching people when they play the game and they got really close. I wanted to give people like another chance to come back.
Yeah, if you're just joining the stream late and are confused by the insanity unfolding on screen, this is Fallen Legion. It's a RPG, PS4, Vita exclusive.
PS4 and Vita. Yeah, right now it's just PS4 and Vita. We're a small team of 8 that are making this, so 2 platforms is playing, especially because the Vita version is a completely different game. Completely different bosses, story, battles. It's more different than Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah. And then, so this is all real time, controlling all 4 characters. X, circle, square, buttons map to these characters, and then the healer's triangle in the back.
And you press the L button to block, and L2 and R2 rotate your character order.
Damn. Got Winchester back now.
Yeah, Winchester's really good at some certain circumstances, but not against melee heavy bosses like this Wyvern. Zolfikar and Longinus are really helpful here. So on the PS Vita version, you play as a legate who's fighting to take the throne from the princess. So in the PS4 version, you'll see him as an enemy, while in the Vita version, that's who you're playing. So you'll see Princess Cecile as the enemy.
Damn, this Wyvern's giving me some trouble.
He's pretty tough. He's not the toughest boss, but yeah, he can be pretty cruel. Maybe I'll jump in and give it a shot. All right, is it alright if I grab the controller?
Yeah, sure. Just hand it over to you from behind the scenes here.
All right.
Cool. So you said each of the possible party members is based around like an actual weapon?
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's 6 core party members here. They're each based on they're each based on a weapon.
You seem like you know what you're doing. I assume you do.
I hope so.
The Wyvern's just like, wow, this guy got much better. What happened? What's Sky Splitter that I see?
That's one. That's a death blow. It's one of the super moves that you would use. So the character in the fifth slot, or in the glowing flame there, will attack
okay.
and do a super move. That bar will change depending on how you play the game too.
Okay.
So you might get different buffs. Like maybe the character in the third slot will cast shield magic, where the character in the fourth slot will be able to inflict poison when they attack.
I think you got this.
I hope so.
Dang. Yeah. Yeah. There it is.
There we go.
What a way to finish.
Yeah. So remember, we chose to manipulate the barbarians into helping, into allying with us. So now we're actually going to make that deal, and we're going to negotiate and talk with the barbarians.
Okay.
So these barbarians are planning to attack this town area, and you could have saved it, but we chose to give this town over to them.
Okay. Pretty cruel. It was
Pretty cool.
It was my idea though.
That was the choice, but you made a deal with them, so you get an item for it. And you can, when you play the game, you're going to have a lot of hard choices to make that you're going to need to make in about 5 seconds, because that's how long you have to make them.
Yeah, I saw the meter ticking down.
It's really lightning fast on that. So we want people to think fast, go with their gut instinct. Maybe they want a buff, maybe they want to go with the story, but the game will change depending on it. So now if we go to this village, if we go area here, we'll see that this village is overrun with barbarians. Before, these people here were kind of like on the fence if they're going to support Princess Cecile's succession to the throne, or if they're going to do something else.
Okay.
But instead of helping the legate or helping you've given this town to them, the barbarians.
And you got an item for it? What was the item?
You got an item. So the item is one of the different buffs that you can get when you play through a level.
Okay.
So the buffs actually change every time you play levels.
Okay.
So they're randomized. So that adds a new buff to the pool. So that buff gives Winchester quadruple damage when you fight beast type monsters like a wolf.
Damn.
or
a wyvern?
Or a wyvern, which could have been helpful, earlier.
Yeah. So you always have, sorry, what's her name?
Princess Cecile.
Princess Cecile,
Yeah.
she's always in your party?
Yeah, she is the human character. So I'm gonna jump to another one of the hard levels here.
Okay.
I'll pick a different team of characters here. We'll use Mjolnir,
Yeah.
who's a really heavy hitter but slow. We have Paul in here, who's an archer. He's kind of a quick character. Who's Dardanelles. Dardanelles is a ranged tank character.
Okay. So who was the third one?
Dardanelles.
Okay.
Yeah, she's kind of like a ranged tank.
Sweet. So you said that wyvern was an early game boss?
It was kind of like a mid game boss, maybe like about a third through the game.
Okay. You got a couple range characters now.
Yeah, but I only have Mjolnir to kind of absorb the damage for them, kind of soak up damage. He's slow.
He's a tanky character.
Yeah,
though?
he's tanky. He's slow but hard hitting.
It's a massive hammer. Is this still a pretty early game mission, or you said this is just a little harder?
This is a lot harder. So when I made this demo that we'll be showing today at the Knicks event, we kind of jumped through levels a little bit here. So at the end here, we have a big boss called Hydra.
Okay.
It's a multi-headed boss.
Can you just block every attack if you time it right?
Yeah, you can. There are a few attacks that we have that are unblockable spells, but you can cancel them out by hitting a character enough ahead of time.
Okay. Is that Cassandra's Coil? Is that some like a special attack too?
Yeah, that's the princess's attack spell.
Okay.
So Cassandra's one of the goddesses in the game, so she's like invoking that goddess power.
Okay.
And she shoots her magic missiles.
Enemies look super different here too.
Yeah.
Not like barbarians anymore.
Yeah. So these are some of the soldiers that are that were once your allies and that are now fighting against you.
Okay. And is that because of a decision you made earlier on?
Yeah, I baked that decision for this demo, but yeah,
okay,
something
cool.
like that. So now I can pick here, if for these choices I can increase Mjolnir's strength, or I can have, every time Dardanel's attacks with her full bar, she can recover a little bit of HP for everybody.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with that, it's a more defensive choice.
Cool.
So now she has like a little bit of a healing magic power added to her regular attack.
How are you blocking?
By L1 here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. Yeah, these shield units are kind of like Mjolnir. They're slow, but then they hit you, it really hurts. And they're also good at defending other allies with them, so they have an ability called cover. So if I didn't kill that other sorcerer first, he would walk up and absorb damage for her.
Oh, gotcha. How many characters are there totally you can use?
It's a great question. We have 6 core characters that we're showing now.
Okay.
Other things will happen to them depending on the choices you make.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna go with the buffs that are more interesting. So we pick Circle here. Even though we had exploited these peasants, you know, Dardanelles will shoot different bullets. So
Okay.
it's a catch-22 with that.
Yeah.
But now I can shoot these laser beam bullets, which is pretty nice. But
Yeah.
I have forsaken an entire village to get that ability.
Yeah, so it goes. Does that just do poison damage, his arrow?
Yeah, yeah. So Apollon's Link attack, when you switch between, he shoots a poison arrow that hits all characters. And Mjolnir's Link attack, he does this whirlwind, he like spins around and pushes other enemies forward.
Okay.
This is one of the baby dragons here from the. Ouch.
Oh, there goes Mjolnir.
Oh man, that's not good. That is not good.
Oh, you just revived him?
Yeah, revive. You can stock your revive. So I had my revive ready, but 2 ranged characters against one dragon is not a good situation.
Nice.
So earlier in the story, our Princess Asio killed some of their allies. So this group is out to get revenge.
Cool. We'll have to unfortunately, might have to wrap it up soon.
All right,
Get a
maybe we can get. Hopefully, if I'm fast, we can get a teaser of this Hydra here.
yeah. Oh, is that that's the Hydra, the final boss for this area? you
Yeah,
mentioned?
it's just he's after these guys here. Let me see if I can speed this up.
Nice. Those laser bullets seem to be helping.
Yeah, I'm glad I took that now.
Circle always kind of a malicious decision.
Not
Oh,
always.
damn.
Not always. Sometimes it's actually really more experimental. So I guess we'll have to leave this guy for everyone else to play later on when
Yeah.
Fallen Legion comes out later this year.
Cool, yeah, so this is Fallen Legion. It's a RPG with real-time combat. Pretty intense, crazy from what I've seen. Doesn't look like I'll be good at it anytime soon, but I definitely want to play it.
Yo, thanks so
Cool,
much for
yeah,
having
Spencer,
me come by. I
thanks so
really
much for coming
appreciate
on. And if you're just joining us, we are here on GameSpot, YouTube, Twitch. We are doing our Indie Mix live stream for GDC 2017. We have a lot of developers in town. We are moving on to our final game for the day. We have another 20 minutes with Steve Gaynor from Fulbright Company. Going to be showing us Tacoma, follow-up to their debut title, Gone Home. Steve, how's it going?
Hey, good to see you, man.
You too.
Thanks for having me on.
Cool, yeah, we're going to be playing Tacoma on PS4, it looks like. Is that what I'm seeing? Or no, that was
yeah.
Fallen Legion.
Yeah,
Okay, we're still
we
swapping
got an
stuff
Xbox
out.
controller down here, though.
All right.
Yeah, Tacoma's
Been a
going to be
long
on Xbox One and PC later this year.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some really awesome looking stuff on the stream so far.
Yeah, no, Fallen Legion, that game looked crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we showed, Yoneman came on, used to be at Fulbright Company to
Yeah.
show where the water tastes like wine.
Yeah.
Would you rather play? Do you want me to play? You want to play and talk about it?
Like, honestly, so if you're at GDC, Tacoma is playable at the Day of the Devs showcase.
Cool.
If you're not at GDC, you can check it out here on the stream. I figure, I don't know, why don't you play it, and
Cool.
I'll just, I can commentate a little bit, or we can just kind of discuss. I'm also happy to just have you play and kind of have a quiet stream unless there's anything you want to ask about it. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's totally up to you. Would you rather just show off?
Well, so the pitch for Tacoma, before we jump right in, is Tacoma is a story exploration game that takes place on a space station in the year 2088. So you, as a contractor, have been sent here by the company that owns the station to retrieve the AI and return it to them. And while you're on the station, you encounter basically digital echoes of what happened to the crew before you arrived.
Okay.
So the beginning of this demo is kind of right after the intro, as you're really just getting your first steps into the station itself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll probably just shut up unless, I mean, we have the YouTube and Twitch chats up. If people have questions about Tacoma, then feel free to throw them our way. We'll bring it up. Try to keep an eye on that too.
Your body positional data has been registered with Tacoma's AR network. Please sign in to confirm your identity. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
So yeah, Tacoma Station is kind of all about this augmented reality
While
overlay
aboard
on the
Tacoma
world that you're
Station,
seeing. And that
please
includes
remember that
Amy
all activity on
using the
this
interface to
facility
enter
is
text and
on
interact with the
AR.
world. It'll also be a lot of how you kind of uncover the story.
Okay.
Any questions about piracy?
You can kind of see we're in this centrifugal force, 2001 style space station. So in the center of the station, you're floating fully in zero gravity. So you have the ability to move through this space without being constrained by gravity. But then as you proceed down the arms of the station to the habitation sections,
Okay.
you'll really feel a difference of, you're in full gravity where people kind of spend their day-to-day lives.
Cool.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, check out your AR desktop before you proceed to
Okay.
personnel. That's the other
Whoops.
one. Sorry. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
So part of what AR is about is that it's sort of the interface for people's lives in our version of 2088. So at any point, the characters and Amy, who you're playing as, can open up sort of this personal interface in their vision.
Okay.
And so go ahead and kind of explore your desktop.
Okay.
But we have like more information about the mission and the crew of the station, and also on the other side of your interface, over on the left side of the horseshoe, there's you receive messages from your handlers, as you're going. There's a map of the station and everything, but this is kind of here to ground you within how the crew kind of lives their lives, and this is how they're exchanging information all throughout their day-to-day.
Cool. Back out of this now?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. And then we're going to personnel, looks like?
Well,
sound like? Or
first, why don't we go on into the observation dome? So these are kind of the recoverable bits of data that are left over when you arrive.
So, you really miss it, huh?
Well, it just seems like it'd be strange being back on Earth already, after only a year up here.
Really? After all I've had to hear from you about the conditions VT has us working under?
Yeah, but there's that. And then there's this. Yeah, I'll miss it.
And so you're kind of, you're experiencing these moments, that happen before you arrive, and are kind of placing yourself within them. And so, in a scene like this, it's just sort of a fragment of something that happened to the crew, and what they're talking about maybe gives you some context for what else you're going to be finding. And also it, sort of maybe leads you, you follow them, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of following in their footsteps. It kind of is one way of reacting to the environment.
Okay.
And then once we get down into the personnel wing, we kind of add a layer of complexity onto that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. And then you can just
go
restart
for
that
it.
on too, or just go.
Right, yeah.
How cool is that? Just traveling 0G.
Right. So the idea of a centrifugal force station is that the habitable wings are spinning, and so that causes artificial gravity on the far side. And so fictionally, as you're moving down this arm, Amy is getting heavier, right? And so by the time that you get to the bottom, you're in full Earth gravity, and you've kind of totally changed your method of traversal once you're down.
Okay. And so, like, those, the AR characters that we're seeing, the kind of like AR ghosts of those people, will those be recurring characters, or will I just see a bunch of different ones throughout the station?
So we are introducing you to a consistent set of characters through the thing. So the game is really about building your understanding and your relationship with the characters that we first saw there, and that's going to continue to kind of build as we go.
Okay. So
Amy's job is to retrieve the AI data from each of the wings of the station, which is what you're doing here. You're starting basically this transfer process, but then while that's ongoing, you're free to explore the different parts of the station and dig into more of what happened to the crew, and really what your real motivation is for being here.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we should probably go over to the admin wing where you were headed before. When you plug one of those in, it activates the AR interface in that part of the station, and then you can interact with things like doors and so forth.
How much effort went into like trying to make the sci-fi aspects of the space station like or maybe not believable, but like accurate? I mean, obviously it's fictional. But.
Yeah, right. Well, those two things, I think, it's interesting because they do kind of go hand in hand, but also they aren't totally, they aren't the same thing, right? Because something that is, something can be believable without being totally scientifically accurate. And I think that our intent is to walk that line and say the stuff that could exist in the current day, the stuff about just like how space travel and gravity and planetary orbits and stuff work. We're trying to do as much as we can to make that stuff work how it would. Like say, okay, this is real technology that they might the way that they might build a long-term habitation station. This is like where they might put the station, that kind of stuff. But then within that we have the other side of it, which is, I think that it's totally plausible to think that in the future our lives may be very heavily kind of like influenced by this AR kind of overlay, this idea of there's always digital information just kind of like in the world, in your view at any time. But since it's speculative fiction, we're able to kind of take our vision of that and say, how might that work? What might our version of that be? And with a scene like this saying, if there's sort of like surveillance technology on the station, the company is tracking the crew all the time, then maybe there's this digital record of what happened to them, and playing back through that is, I guess, an extrapolation of what AR might be, as opposed to like, this is accurate, this is what's actually going to happen. But yeah, at this point you've seen kind of an exchange between Nat and Bert. So hit X to pause. So at this point we've sort of seen parallel threads happening at once. Like you hung out at the dining table and you saw that Andrew and Clive came in from the kitchen, and maybe you saw that Sarah was down playing pool. And so a big part of the game is saying there are these kind of webs of events that are happening in a location. And because it's digital information, you have kind of like VCR controls to not just move through space and find objects, but to move through the timeline of what happened and put yourself inside of it. So I would say whatever other aspect of this scene that you think you might want to explore, kind of what was happening at the same time, pull back and follow somebody else in the scene.
Okay. And Sarah's the one that was in that 0G earlier.
Right, exactly.
What you're looking for?
No, I just imagine Well, I guess I just mean someone I can talk to. Someone who makes me laugh. Don't you?
And so Odin, the station AI, who you're here to bring back, is also a character in the story. And so I think part of what you're discovering, especially early on, is what kind of entity, what kind of consciousness he is, what kind of relationship the crew has to him. And so, you can see in this scene that some of the crew relate to him very much like a person, and are kind of building a relationship with him like anybody else. But how different crew members kind of conceive of what Odin is and what they think of him is part of, I think, hopefully what's part of the interesting dynamic of this whole group of people. If you want to play pool or darts or anything.
Yes. We are each uniquely evolved, individualized entities.
Yes, individuals. Do you get along with other AIs?
I have never encountered another AI.
What?
Is that what like Odin would have looked like at the time it was happening, or is that just the AR manifestation of what he looks like?
So it's basically our thinking is that Odin is not technically in any kind of like single physical location, right? But while he was, while these events were ongoing,
there are organizations that share your viewpoint.
So you might want to pause it while she heads upstairs. Sorry. While these events are ongoing, while the characters are interacting with him, there's this kind of, I think, human need to have some manifestation of him, something to focus on.
Okay.
So our idea is that these recordings are capturing everything that was happening in AR during these moments, and that includes where any individual kind of like instance of Odin was being placed, so that the crew members have something to kind of make eye contact with, as it were.
Gotcha.
But practically speaking, he's kind of everywhere all at once.
Gotcha.
And if you want to go up to the kitchen, maybe you'll find that as you're the game is really about putting these pieces of the timeline together into a whole. So yeah, up around to the left. And maybe pull the timeline back. And as you're kind of adding up this stuff and kind of putting the pieces together of what was happening when, you'll find that Odin can actually be in multiple places at the same time, talking to multiple people, and it's really just about what their individual experience of him is in a lot of ways.
Oh, he's in here too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And someone in the chat is asking, I don't know if you probably can't talk about this, but I mean, like with all the AR, it begs the question: do you guys have ideas to bring this to like VR at all?
I mean, we are currently totally focused on the the traditional formats, PC and Xbox. But I am encouraged by seeing advances that have happened in just like how games like this are being translated into VR recently. Like it was really interesting to see how positively people responded to like Resident Evil 7 in VR, and being like, this game works great in VR. This is a full first-person game, and it actually like is really solid as an experience. So I think there's possibilities for that kind of stuff, but it is certainly not going to be our first line of defense.
Sure. Yeah.
So something that might be interesting is if you want to follow around Evie in there, go for it.
I am prepared.
Okay.
So something else on top of just like following the characters and listening to them is that anytime that they were using their AR desktop during one of these scenes, that's captured as well. So you can recover the data that she was looking at on her desktop. And so that's information that only she had at the time. And so while you're following the characters, listening to the scenes, you're kind of able to also see what they were seeing. And it's sort of another way to build context for the events of the story as they were happening in the timeline.
Gotcha. Evie is what's her job on the station?
I think we actually put that down in the bottom middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's the station admin. So she's kind of the boss, the captain of the ship, if it were a ship. Yeah.
Will this ever be translatable?
No. So as you can see, like a lot of the data has been lost. So I think that what Gone Home was about, what a lot of the stuff that we've worked on, even going back to Minerva's Den, was about is the idea of there being gaps in the narrative, right? And there only being so much that you actually have access to. And so in terms of Tacoma, part of our challenge was if if it's all digital, if we can't just say, well, there's one post-it note that's been left here, you know, so that's an isolated thing. How do we make it so you don't just have like infinite access to all the information? And so Amy being here to recover the AI after there was some sort of incident gave us the ability to say, okay, so a bunch of the data on the station has been lost, and you can only have access to the stuff that is like recoverable by your system. And so as you go through, you're finding the bits and pieces of what's left over, but it's sort of the interpretive job of the player to make the connections between them. Yeah.
Cool. Is that something I'd find in her logs?
Well, almost. Maybe follow her more through this scene a little.
Is it 0451?
No, it isn't.
All right.
I will guarantee you that
medical
it's not.
stasis cryo beds until she can.
Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
Ah, right. Be right there. Odin, we'll get back to this after the party, okay?
Of course.
Oh. All right. I think I saw it.
Yeah. So that's some of the stuff that we're kind of trying to make the player conversant with the AR and with how the crew use the interface as well as how you do.
Okay.
To kind of have sometimes it's stuff like unlocking a key code door, right? But sometimes it's giving you an idea of what they were experiencing before you arrived.
Cool.
So sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's just like, you know, okay, what's she reacting to? And now you can interact with the AR to discover, you know, what her experience was.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems like the next step in that, you know, like you said, Gone Home is maybe more traditional, you know, like notes being left around, audio logs, kind of in that kind of contextual storytelling, environmental storytelling. But this seems like the next evolution of that, kind of more futuristic, obviously, but also like this, seeing her put that code in, it actually affects how I play it.
Right. Well, and you know, we hope that's true. I mean, what we wanted to do was to make sure that we weren't, you know, repeating ourselves. Like, you know, I think that Gone Home is the kind of game that you could totally make more Gone Home with a different place and a different story and a different set of things that you're finding. I think that could be a totally good game. But as far as what our ambitions were, we wanted to say, how can we take that as a baseline and, like you're saying, take the next step towards how you're directly involved with the events as they're happening, how you have kind of an interactive dialogue with the story without it being, you know, branching choice, without it being about, you know, something like a Telltale game or something like that, but more of just you have an expanded interactive role within how you're finding all of the events of what happened.
Okay. Looks like something went wrong here.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of the motivating action at the end of this scene is what's going to set up the rest of the game. There's this the first hint of what the crew has had to deal with before you arrive.
There's like traces of like Minority Report in it, right? Is that what I'm thinking of when he's just recreating the scene?
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. I mean, and I'll take that comparison because I think most people with Minority Report think of the whole like, you know, swooping around, moving the UI and stuff. In our universe, AR is kind of it's a direct communication between the user's sensory cortex and the interface. So it's kind of tracking your attention. Basically, you're not doing anything with your hands except like when she was doing text entry.
Sure.
But the aspect of Minority Report that I think is interesting here is that idea of being able to reconstruct events from multiple angles, replay them, and kind of see them in a fuller way than you could just from a single viewpoint.
Cool. Okay. You said that's like so obsolescence day. What is? I think they mentioned it before. I think, but I kind of.
Well, something that we found was really interesting about you know, groups of people who work on isolated facilities like Arctic bases, for instance, is that there's a lot of coping mechanisms you basically have to deal with the fact that every day is kind of the same, right? There's no night and day when you're on the South Pole or, you know, in space. You are in this sort of static environment. And so what happens a lot is people kind of make up excuses for having celebrations, for like creating events, so they can have jobs, so they can say we're all building towards this one big thing that we're going to do together, and it helps them mark time and kind of like structure their stay. And so in this case, Obsolescence Day, kind of deeper within the story is about how human crews on orbital stations were meant to be made obsolete a long time ago.
Okay.
But there's still humans out there in space, and so the people that are working there kind of celebrate this day every year about there still being crews like them out in orbit.
It's cool. So that was the end of that scene. It's probably a good work. Heading this way next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, our demo will wrap up when you're in this bunk, so that'll probably be a great place to put a cap on it. But you know, the part of the experience aside from the core plot and kind of the events as they happen is like Gone Home, having access to these characters' personal space and evidence of who they are as individuals. And so there are some of these AR fragments that are basically like partially corrupted moments that you can recover that generally tend to be more of small moments about who these people are, and kind of more of an insight into what they do when they're not in kind of a big group setting.
Cool.
And so, you know, in a scene like this, we just kind of get to be with Evie for a few minutes while she's playing guitar and singing, and get an idea of what she's like in her personal space.
Cool.
If that's all there is, my friend.
And something that, you know, I think is interesting is if you look like out the skylights, anywhere that you are, you can always kind of see where you are in the station. And so that sense of being able to look out in space and see the structure of this place that you're just like a very small part of, I think. Cool. Is nice.
Awesome. I feel like we'll get to know the station pretty well.
Yeah.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for guiding us through our little glimpse of Tacoma, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Steve. So it's just this year right now is the window?
Yeah, we're aiming for middle of this year.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. So obviously that's Steve Gaynor from Full Bike Company, known for their debut title Gone Home from 2013.
Yeah.
Tacoma is coming out sometime in 2017. Team's grown a little bit, a few people here and there.
Yeah. We're 8 people now, so we doubled in size.
Gotcha. Yeah. A huge team tackling Tacoma, but just like everybody else we brought on today, we'll be at the Indie Mix event tonight. If you happen to be in San Francisco, otherwise I'm sure we'll have more Tacoma coverage throughout the week, throughout the year, you know, leading up to whenever it releases and everything. And we're looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Steve.
Yeah, thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, I'll see you around this week.
All right, cheers.
Cool. For those joining YouTube, GameSpot, or Twitch, we are here with the Indie Mix stream. That was the last game we were showing. That was Tacoma. We showed Fallen Legion. We showed Punch Planet. We showed Sundered. We showed Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. And we showed Beacon. So now we have, we're going to bring on some of the guys from Indie Mix to kind of wrap things up. Come on down now. I believe it's Justin we're going to be talking to here. Yeah, he's recording. He's showing us to wrap up the stream. Justin, nice to meet you. Nice to have you on.
What's up, man?
Cool. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm
cool.
good.
So tell us about Indie Mix. Tell us about GDC. What's going on this week?
GDC's crazy. If you guys don't know, it's I'm a game developer as well. We actually came with Jason Mewes because we're working on our game, Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh yeah.
So this is like the mecca of game developers right now. It's the biggest event in the world for game developers. So we're here to show to help work with developers to share a bunch of amazing games, like really top tier indie game developers. And we basically started this because we were game developers ourselves, and we were having a hard time getting press and media coverage since we're the small guy, and we're just like everyone else who's been on the stream so far. They are working really hard on their games, and they don't have a lot of time to do a lot of the press and media, outreach and those type of things. So we're trying to help make that a little bit easier and help awesome developers get coverage and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. We saw a bunch of cool games today of all different types, and that's probably like some of the coolest things coming out of these small teams. Some of them were even like games people were like working on part-time, which is just astounding because seems like full-fledged games in themselves, which they are, but it's all like, free time, like passion projects almost.
Yeah, they look like straight up like AAA games, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It's cool where the tools have gotten indie developers to this, to this point. And Spencer has his own website based on, Japanese games. So it's cool to see like how he took his love for that type of art style, like Vanillaware, and brought it to his game development studio.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have everybody in one spot. Like I said, if people who are in San Francisco, whether they're going to GDC or not, the Indie Mix event is tonight, and then throughout the week, they'll be on the show floor. I'm gonna try to get over tomorrow.
Oh, you're gonna get over?
Center.
Okay.
Yeah, try to
That should
walk
be
around,
cool.
try out all the games we didn't have on today. But yeah, had a lot of people show up in the YouTube chat, the Twitch chat, GameSpot chat. It was, people were excited to see these games, and I had a great time.
Popping.
Yeah. What's your schedule like the rest of the week with Indie Mix stuff?
The schedule's pretty crazy because we have the mix tonight, and we're working with some other partners on some other showcases to help more visibility. And I also work. I don't know if I could say names or whatever. Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I work with Fig as well.
Okay.
And they're a crowdfunding for video games.
Cool.
So I'm going to be talking to a lot of developers to try to get them funding, and then just this is like where all my friends are at right now. So we're going to be meeting, talking about our games, and then at GDC there's some pretty good talks. Some of my friends are talking, so that should be cool.
Yeah, a lot of interesting panels. I don't know if I'll have time to get to any of them. Like obviously our news team's going to be covering them. Trying to get the word out on GameSpot, of course. Any last minute thoughts? Anything I didn't ask you want to add in?
I just want to say thanks for hosting these awesome developers. You guys picked some great games. I mean, all the games from the mix are great, but
yeah, no, definitely. We wish we could have gotten more. Just like time constraints. The week is crazy.
Yeah, but it's great to see them. Be able to come up and share their games, and I hope that everybody is able to pick them up when they come out.
Absolutely.
And just support indie game developers because we really work hard on our craft and to make really good stuff for us, but then also, of course, we want to make everyone happy. So.
Awesome. Justin, thanks so much for coming on to wrap things up with me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
So for those who joined, thanks so much for joining us on YouTube, on Twitch, on GameSpot. We had an awesome time playing 6 of these games. Played Fallen Legion, Tacoma, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, Beacon, Sundered, and the first one, Punch Planet. Had a bunch of awesome, pretty diverse games. I don't think we really kind of genre jumped all day, which is nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been interesting all day. But again, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We'll have coverage for GDC 2017 out of San Francisco the whole week here at GameSpot. We got a Prey stream with Ralph Colantonio from Arcane Studios on Wednesday. We got a bunch of people coming in. Come back 11 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday for The Lobby, our live show. I'm sure we got a bunch of other games I'm forgetting. It's a crazy week. But again, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you later.